Okay, so what if you're on a GLP-1 and instead of constipation, you're running to the bathroom? Let's talk more about it. I'm Tiffany, I'm a physician assistant, and I help people get access to GLP-1s that can't get them through their insurance. So if that's you, then there's some links over here in my bio that can help you out. So let's talk about a side effect that's not getting enough attention. So everybody on GLP-1s always talks about the constipation because it's super common, but there is a certain number of people that instead get issues with diarrhea. So if you're one of those people, stick around because I've got info for you. So if you're on a GLP-1, then constipation is more likely. But if you're on compounded versions, then you're a little bit more likely to have some diarrhea. And there's a reason for that. So a lot of compounded versions of GLP-1s contain cyclodextrins, which stabilize the medication, and then mannitol, which is also a filler. Those can both act as an osmotic laxative in your system. Hello, diarrhea. Now, these additives are generally safe, but they can cause a lot of cramping and bloating. And if you're somebody who's super sensitive to your stomach, ultimately a lot more bowel issues. Now, in the clinical trials of Semaglutide and Tirzepatide, about 10 to 15% of people got diarrhea, but these were in the clinical trials of the branded products. So we're not talking about compounds. So we find that people who are on compounds, it's a little bit more common. Now, if you're relying on compounded medications, it doesn't mean that you have to stop them. It just means we may need to make some dietary changes if you're having this issue. So let's go over what you need to do. The first thing is you need to look for hidden sugar alcohols in the foods that you're eating because they are the #1 culprit for diarrhea, gas, and bloating. So check your labels for things like erythritol, xylitol, or sorbitol. These are super common in low carb, low sugar, and keto products and can really do a number on your stomach, cause a lot of GI symptoms. So we want to try to minimize the amount of sugar alcohols that you're taking in. You really want to try to go easy on the greasy food. When your digestion is slowed down, when you eat a greasy meal and it sits on your stomach for a while, it can kind of end in disaster. So when you can, try to choose things that are baked, steamed, grilled, instead of fried. Next, try to use fiber to your advantage. So things like oats, chia seeds, and psyllium husk, which is Metamucil, or even bananas, can actually help bulk up the stool and absorb water into the stool, avoiding diarrhea and helping make stool more firm. Now you want to try to avoid caffeine and super cold liquids during your meals. Both of these things can actually trigger gut motility, or the action where your bowel squeezes and make that urgency to go much worse. You can also talk to your provider about your compounds, make sure you know which preservatives and which additives are in your compounded products because this does matter. So signs that you need to contact your provider: if you're having persistent diarrhea that's lasting longer than 3 to 4 days, if you're seeing any sort of blood in your stool, or if you're having signs of dehydration like lightheadedness, dizziness, or low blood pressure, you need to contact your provider right away. So make sure you save this video for later just in case some issues come up, and repost this just so some of your GLP-1 friends can see this if they're having an issue.